my glasses came out, and I don't know when. And then they popped out, I went to clean them, and they popped out. I've got the lens, but I don't know if I can really use it for one eye.
I've done that. And I also put nail polish on my screws. Just to drop a clear nail polish. Yeah. It's not easy to get it undone.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I should check everything.
Well, it's like once they start doing this new thing, then they keep doing it. So that's when you start putting it down. I used to have one glasses kit in my desk drawer. I bought.
Right.
So other teachers would send the kids to me. You fix your glasses.
I run out of those parts.
You've got the screw. Here's my lens. Bad insects. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
It's like dirt. It's just in the dirt.
Good. Water, which I think is simple. I'll go with that.
I can't handle it. I would say check your ball. Right? Come on. How are you? So how did you get out of your driveway? Or did you not get that much?
Oh, I gotta figure out what it says. I have a lot of choices.
Yeah, our driveway.
The gas station.
You know, we have 10 minutes. No, so John brought him. He's got a full drive truck. And his car in the garage is pointed to go.
Because the
And I always turn mine around.
way the screws are on the bottom.
Right.
Yeah. So he did about the first time. And then,
I know I'm never going to have to.
once we get him,
They do have, there's a, and there's a little red, the red one is the one.
so we freeze it.
Yeah, I met you today.
You're it, yeah.
Yeah, this is my first time solo.
So you guys run the recording too?
Already got that. Yeah. I got it.
Wow.
Good morning, brave souls. It is a joy to be together on this morning. My home congregation in Madison sent out an email this morning saying, church is closed. And I went, not us. We're open for business. So.
Not in 22 years.
22 years. And we're going to shoot for 24 years. So as we just know, wherever you are on life's journey, as much snow as gets in our way, you are welcome here. As we enter into this sacred time, let us center our hearts on this month's theme, the last Sunday of nurturing gratitude. As individuals, we experience various degrees of privilege in our lives, and exploring gratitude invites us to consider our place in the flow of love's resources. What we cherish, what we question, and what we share with others. Our hymn of the month, We Gather Together, affirms our faith in the power of gathering in beloved community and our response to love's call. Listen for the hope in its last line that we are free only when we are bound to the care and freedom of others. Let us rise in body or in spirit together and share our opening hymn. We welcome you, who you are, and whomever you love, and whatever brings you here. I'm Reverend Bret, and my pronouns are he, him, his. Our worship team this morning includes Tim, our music director, our choir, and me. I am running tech for today. If you're in person, do join us for coffee hour. If you're online, and I'm hoping that there are just dozens and dozens online this morning, do like, comment, and share the worship service. If today is your first day worshiping with us, online or in person, we are thrilled that you're here. Let us know who you are so that we can be in touch. We gather today on the ancestral lands of the Ho-Chunk and Potawatomi peoples and are in deep gratitude for the privilege of being on this sacred ground. This land, this nation, our faith and our lives are shaped by a complex history of oppression, freedom, resistance, migration, conflict, justice, and hope. From these intertwined legacies, we learn, reflect, seek healing, offer gratitude, and strive to create a world that will reflect the choices we make for future generations. As we gather, we light our chalice, as we do each week. It is the symbol of our faith, a beacon of truth, a fire for justice, a warmth for the soul. I'm going to help out because I think I forgot to light the candle. Rylan lights our candle this morning, our flaming chalice this morning. As Rylan lights Our chalice, let us speak together the covenant of our church. Love is the spirit of this church, and reason is its guide. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to serve human need. This is our covenant. Now let us sing together our chalice song. Our church exists inside and outside these walls and in our hearts. So we share now our prayers of the people, the naming of joy and sorrow, the holding in heart of those we love. We hold in our hearts all those recovering from illnesses and experiencing maladies of body or soul. May mercy and healing attend them. I invite you in this space to name those aloud or in silence who you are holding in your hearts. Amen. Would you turn now and greet your neighbor in fellowship? Our invocation this morning is by Dory Summers, or written by. How short the daylight hours have now become. How gray the skies, how barren seem the trees. But there is that in us which reaches up toward light and laughter, bells and carols, and those that are religious myth and dream of reborn joy and goodness must be true. Because it speaks the truths of older myths, that light returns to balance darkness, life surges in the evergreen, and love finds us. Hello, I'm Reverend Bret again. I'm doing the story. We do have nursery after the younger children are able to depart. We do have nursery care this morning, but for the rest of the youth and children, they're free to stay in worship, make noise, run around, whatever they'd like to do. In the beginning, there was emptiness, like a blank canvas. Then, in a swirl of motion, the Creator made the world. The sun, the moon, and the stars were born. Still waters became rivers and oceans. Land became deep valleys and high mountains, blossoming with lush plants, trees, and fruit. Animals of all shapes and sizes appeared in the water, on the land, and in the clear blue sky. As a finishing touch, the Creator wanted to paint everything with a special kind of light so the world would shine with goodness. The light was so powerful it had to be stored away in a huge jar. But when the Creator started to open the jar, it shook violently, it tipped over, it cracked and shattered, sparks of light flew out. The Creator couldn't find the missing pieces alone. Who could help? Birds, frogs, beasts? Then the Creator had an idea. People were made to find the shards of light and bring them together again. Only then would the world be complete and perfect. People searched far and wide, pieces sparkling on blades of grass, shimmering on sea kale, and glistening insect wings. They saw the light in animals' loving eyes. They discovered it in each other and sometimes in themselves. Whenever people found the light, they felt contentment, joy, peace. When they shared it with one another, there was no more hate, hunger, fear, or war. Many shards are still to be discovered. The world is incomplete and far from perfect. But as long as people are searching for the pieces of light, finding them and putting them back together, then there is hope that the world will be one. That's our story for all ages. And I don't know about you, but I'm just the right age for that message. So let us sing our children and youth to wherever they would like to go. Okay. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. I hope that you are subscribed to the Kairos, our weekly newsletter. Be sure to read it for announcements about upcoming events and activities. I do want to share that I'm pulling out the interim updates that I've put in there about once a month, and I'm going to print those out and put them in the lobby, in the narthex. There's a little, just look for JetPig, and you can find those updates. But they will keep us up to date about that whole process. Each month, we spotlight the work of one of our Faith in Action teams, and for this month, we're focusing on the Eco-Justice team. And I'm pleased to invite Rich McKnight to come forward and share what they've been working on.
The Eco-Justice team meets on the first Sunday of the month, and our next meeting will be next week. All are welcome to join. We certainly have opportunity for growth. Oops. My name is Rich, and my pronouns are up for discussion. As we move into December, we are sharing our suggested donations for the pantry this winter. You can find them in the Kairos or flyers in the Deal Hall. Donations can be placed directly into the pantry or on the pantry table in Deal Hall. I hope you all saw that the UUA recognized us in the monthly news, and we seem to be one of the few 24/7 pantries known. It's quite an amazing creation. This morning, we would like to highlight one of our partner organizations, Severson Dells. If you have not been there before, we encourage you to attend their Lumina event coming up from 5 to 9 p.m. on December 12th and the 13th. Walk candlelit trails and enjoy winter nature activities, live music, s'mores, hot chocolate, and more. The mission of Severson Dells is to link people to nature through education and research in the northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin regions. We now take up an offering to support the work of justice and mercy in the world. 80% of what's collected today will go to Severson Dells. Thank you for your generosity. The offering will now be given and most gratefully received.
Let's share a few moments of prayer and meditation.
God of many names and mystery beyond all naming, this season is ripe with expectation and hope. Over the next week, we celebrate two holidays: Advent with its expectation of Christmas, and Bodhi Day, a celebration of the Buddha's enlightenment. While this time is filled with hope, love, joy, and peace for many, let us remember that it is also a struggle for so many others. A time of cold, wondering if the heating bill will be paid. A time of cold and loneliness, wondering if the inner light that warms and comforts will ever be seen or felt again. A time of cold and loneliness and bitterness, wondering if the world will ever be right and just again. Let us honor the hope and joy while keeping in our thoughts and prayers those who are struggling to feel the warmth of a coming light. Until all beings feel the care the universe has for them, until all are cared for, we share our light to the best of our ability. And in this first week of Advent, we light a candle of hope. Let us rise in body or in spirit for our hymn 225, O Come Emmanuel. Our readings this morning are two of my favorite Advent readings. I'm glad to be able to share them. The first is from Advent by Thomas Merton. The four white roads make off in silence toward the four parts of the starry universe. Time falls like manna at the corners of the wintry earth. We have become more humble than the rocks, more wakeful than the patient hills. Charm with your stainlessness these nights in Advent, holy spheres, while minds as meek as beasts stay close at home in the tender hay, and intellects are quieter than flocks that feed by starlight. And from the Christmas Quest by Phil Karspekin. Somewhere in the blithe heart of Christmas, a vague discontent steals over us, bringing pause to our gaiety and sending us like questing children to a vigil at the window. Turning from the festive glow, we search the lonely sweep of stars for something beyond the tinseled pleasures and delights. And if we search with the soul's keen vision, perhaps we will find what we seek. It will have more splendor than all the earth's Christmas lights and candles. It will be as distant as the North Star and as close as your heart. It will be as ancient as the expanse of nearly 2,000 years and as young as this very Christmas. It will gleam among the shadows of eternity, and it will adorn your earthly being with the evergreen hope and the celestial ornaments of goodwill. It is a wondrous thing to look deep into the face of the silent nights and to find at last, in the timelessness of the stars, the spirit of this season.
Just to be
just so grateful you all showed up. The choir, thank you for showing up even earlier. And this worship service, these are miracles, right? Tim picked such beautiful music, and Lindsay picked a beautiful book. It all fits together. Christmas miracle. As you can tell, I love Advent. It's the waiting, even it feels more powerful as a lesson and a time than the moment of Christmas. I get it now. I get the candles and the order and the purple. I even have the purple stole, which a good friend of mine said looked like a Klingon warrior sash. Once you see it, you can never unsee it. But growing up, I didn't get Advent at all. At most, it was a calendar filled with chocolate, which my siblings and I fought over because not every piece was sized equally. I started to get the meaning of Advent after Cindy and I were given a small Christmas tree ornament for our first Christmas together. It was a little handmade wood mouse sitting in a swing. We got it somewhere in the middle of Arizona, stopping for gas off a back roads highway that somebody found themselves lost on. Everything in our lives was liminal at that time, neither here nor there, the middle of the desert, waiting for the birth of a child, living on the GI Bill and student loans, hoping we'd be able to pay them off someday. Wondering if Cindy's 1975 Mercury Monarch was going to make it to California from Chicago. The gruff woman behind the gas station counter looked us over as we came in. We must have looked very, very young. "No free bathroom," she said, pointing to a sign that said "No free bathroom," and a jar that read "Bathroom, $1." We paid and we used the bathroom, but before we left, the woman called us back and handed us that small handmade ornament displayed by the cash register. "It's for the child," she said, as if we might mistake it for a gift for us. But it was from the heart. It was our first family ornament received in a time of waiting for our child to come to meet family, for what promised surprises might arrive. It was an Advent gift in the liminal space between a here and a there. When we got to my mom's house, we hung that little ornament on her tree near the top and got to relive the gruff gas station woman look. It didn't fit the tree. We put it somewhere else. My mom's tree was always very elegant with its white lights and its perfect tree topper, always an angel. But that little ornament's been on our tree for Cindy's and my tree and Javin's tree for the last 37 years. And as you know, there are two kinds of people at Christmas, right? People who put white lights on their trees, and, like my mom, and the type who put colored lights on their trees. For white light people, the ornaments match. There's the angel on the top. The tinsel's balanced all the way even in back where nobody can see, right? Then there are the colored light people, who may not be about the presentation at all, but the little story behind each and every ornament. I am of mixed heritage, white lights on my mom's side, colored lights on my dad's. So I've actually been known to mix strands of white and colored lights, which I think is very Unitarian Universalist. I don't know about the tree that's going to appear here next week. I've been told it's a white light tree. It's white light, okay. But my grandma's tree, now that took the white light thing to new levels. It's always dawned in an elegant light blue motif and had to reach the ceiling, which wasn't a problem until when I was about 7, she moved to a house with a vaulted ceiling. I mean, it was not that tall, but it was tall. And I remember the debate. It was like an hour-long debate. How could we get a tree that tall? Or could we prop it on a table? What are we going to do? And luckily, my dad worked at the Christmas tree lot each year. He picked out for my grandma the tallest, fullest, and greenest tree on the lot. Mission accomplished, right? Then, continuing to follow orders, he took that fresh green tree into a booth constructed of plywood and chicken wire. I still remember it was sawdust on the floor. put that tree smack in the dab in the middle on a special stand, turned on the blower, and gave that thing an extra dose of artificial snow. I know. In the Midwest, I always get the groans. When I told this story out in Berkeley, California, and everyone was like, oh. Now, I learned later, after Dad died, that he didn't spend Advent, the 5 weeks before Christmas, at the tree lot because he enjoyed the Santa booth, the petting zoo, the costumed elves running around. No. Dad worked there because it was the only way he could afford Christmas presents. Dad was a colored light guy, all the way. And while his lights were banished to the outside of the house, Christmas was all about the stories that we were creating as a family. Even still, I never understood the liminality, the betweenness, until much later. My dad taught me the heart of it, but I didn't get the rest. Advent is about waiting in a period of holy discontent for something to pull the world out of confusion and self-inflicted suffering. And like no other time in my life, our society now looks very much like first century Rome. A massive empire out of control, a global killing machine separating citizen from non-citizen, crushing the ideals on which our society was founded, losing its way. Feels very much like first century Rome. The central image of Advent is John the Baptizer in the wilderness, wild clothed in the skins of animals, dining on locusts dipped in honey, and raging against the machine of empire. Long before John baptized Jesus, he was part of a tradition of apocalyptic prophets who would gather throngs of people by the banks of the Jordan River, and they hoped to reenact Exodus, overthrow Rome. Would have been Egypt, you get the thing. Purify and rededicate the temple and restore peace to the world. And in this way, writes contemplative monastic John Raymond, Advent has a double meaning. It is a season to prepare for Christmas when we celebrate Jesus' birth, and it is a remembrance to wait for the coming of final peace to the world and to do something about it. Early Christians crafted Advent after a pagan ritual of waiting for their god Adventus to come and dwell in the temple each winter season. And on the Feast of Adventus, the usually closed temple would be opened for the anniversary of a god's return, convenient for Christians to adopt for the coming of their Lord. Now, many Unitarian Universalists might puzzle over how to approach this idea of Advent. Waiting for the arrival of a world's Savior doesn't resonate for most of us. And although we grew from Protestant roots, you Christians today are only one of many branches that extend through our churches. How about you? What are we going to do about Advent? Have you struggled to fit the meaning of Advent into your spiritual year, your liturgical life? Or have you simply ignored it? Is it simply a thing of loveliness from another tradition's liturgy? Or do you relate only to the marvelous array of Advent calendars beyond the old chocolate ones, featuring books, bourbon, Hogwarts, Star Trek ships, and the one that keeps popping up on my Facebook feed, anime characters from Studio Ghibli films? What is so bad? I struggled for a long time. Or probably not struggled, probably not the right word. I just ignored it. It was just a thing. Some candles. They lit them. But here's the moment back when I was an intern minister in Geneva, Illinois, when I started to understand this holiday of Advent. Surprisingly, it arose not from my Christian affinities, but from my practice of insight meditation. Yes, I'm a UU Christian with a Buddhist meditation practice and an Emersonian reverence for nature. It's a mouthful. When I was an Air Force chaplain surrounded by evangelical colleagues, I shared this with them, and it made their head hurt. They just, hours of conversation. How can you have all that? I'm a Unitarian Universalist, right? But you get it, right? Christian faith, Buddhist practice, Emerson fixation. You've been trained. I've seen Reverend Matthew's sermons on the transcendentalists. You've been trained. And here it is. Oops. Oh, okay. Well, and here it is. It had to be something. So here's how I got the idea of Advent, finally. And it came, like as I said, through my insight meditation practice. Because my internship supervisor, the Reverend Lindsay Bates, pulled me into her office probably November, and said, "You're going to preach, I've got an assignment for you. You're going to preach on Advent, the spiritual meaning of Advent." I think she had heard me going, Advent, whatever, it's a bunch of candles. And she said, "It had better be good." So there I was on a Tuesday evening, sitting on a cushion with my Sangha. But this time, Advent was sitting with me. Advent is about waiting, so leveraging all that my then newfound meditation skills could offer me, I told my worry to wait. I'll get to you later. I invited the worry to sit on a cushion behind me. "No can do," said the worry. "You're going to be up in front of the congregation speaking about Advent. They want answers, they want inspiration about Advent." It was to be my second sermon there. A half hour later, this conversation still raging, my leg falling asleep, a little thought kind of emerged behind the turmoil. "What are you doing here?" My first response was, "Just leave me alone. Can't you leave me alone?" "No," the little thought said. "What are you doing here?" "I'm sitting." "You do this a lot. So why are you sitting here night after night on that silly little cushion of yours?" "To sit." "For I'm sitting and waiting." It said before vanishing. Waiting. I felt it settle in. I'm waiting. I'm listening. That sounds like Advent. My supervisor said I passed. And in this way, all spiritual practices are kind of waiting. In yoga, waiting for our bodies to release, right? In music, waiting for those scales and exercises to lock in. In gardening, waiting for our nurturing to bring forth sprouts. In Lectio Divina, waiting for a text to speak. In contemplative prayer, waiting for insights to emerge. I'm going through all the things, all the different spiritual practices that Unitarian Universalists have shared with me over the years as primary to their spiritual life. Even regular attendance at church is a waiting together for new hope within these cycles of our lives. You showed up this morning. Sitting on that cushion in a cold meditation hall, I also realized the first week of December celebrates not only Advent, but Bodhi Day, the observance when the historical Buddha sat down under a tree, awoke, and gained enlightenment. This confluence of observances, Bodhi Day and Advent, has brought a richness to this time for me. The story of the Buddha's awakening is certainly one of waiting. Again, in that story, we often picture the tree, he woke, but we forget that he sat under that tree for weeks, waiting. He left home, he saw suffering for the first time. You know the story probably. The future, and he spent about 5 years experimenting with various esoteric practices, some quite rigorous and severe. Finally, in exasperation, he rejected them all and he just sat down. You could almost feel the exhaustion. He didn't have a clue what would happen next. And through discomfort, temptation, doubt, he then realized the path away from suffering. And the teachings of the Buddha, as he was thereafter known, assume that we can suffer less as we learn to accept all of life, not just the stuff we like, let go of craving. Become at peace with the waiting. That's key for me, to become at peace in the waiting. because it's not over till it's over. So we have a man sitting, waiting, not knowing what he waits for, and 3 kings waiting, not knowing what they wait for, a world waiting, not knowing what we wait for. What a great mashup of observances. And it makes sense. In the cold of the season, waiting for the warmth of hope can seem impossible. Of course, this very time of transition for this church, this interim period, is a waiting time. You knew I'd slip it in there, right? And a lesson is this: if we just wait and don't ponder its meaning, we've missed an opportunity. This period before Christmas isn't just to get through to the presence. This period of interim isn't just to get through, to get to the next thing. It's an opportunity to engage in the spiritual life, which for free thinkers isn't about adherence to dogma or creeds, you know it. It's about what Ignatius of Loyola, who founded the Jesuits, would call discernment of spirits. Where is the universe in all its creative forms leading us now? This tug relies on imagination, wisdom, and these periods of quiet reflection. Change and transition are always happening around us. We don't always notice it. In times of transition, Spirit invites us to pay attention, to notice, wander a bit. Yesterday, I wandered through the woods as it snowed, and it was just magical time. I almost rewrote this whole sermon, then I thought, no, that's... But I wandered, and I noticed, and I felt. I got cold. It was life. I remembered a little bit of who I am. That's part of it, right? To remember who we are. Discover where we're going. Welcome to Advent. I invite you to look into your religious practices, your own, to find meaning in this season of Advent for you. We have our Advent candles. They are burning reminders of the potential ahead: hope, peace, joy, and love. The Christmas candle at its center. What fires burn in your hearts? Hope for justice, hope for connection, acceptance, hope that we all will find and come to peace, hope for joy, so challenging right now. Hope for love, in which so many of us find God, Creator, Spirit. There's a reason hope is the first candle. The rest all emerge from hope. As we enter the season of Advent, I invite you to do it with intention, even with reason, looking to the light above or in the metaphorical east or inside to guide your way through it. I hope you this Advent season find a meaning or a new insight that will bring more light into this world. And so I pray. May all beings be full of hope and find joy. May all beings feel loving kindness in the waiting. And may peace prevail over all. Blessed be. Amen. Let us share our closing hymn. Number 224, Let Christmas Come, rise in body or in spirit. Again, the words of Thomas Merton. We who are more humble than the rocks, more wakeful than the patient hills, charm with your stainlessness these nights in Advent, holy spheres, while minds as meek as beasts stay close at home in the quiet hay, and intellects are quieter than the flocks that feed by starlight. And now, while I extinguish the chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment which we carry until we are together again, I invite you to join hands for our closing blessing. If touch is uncomfortable or private for you, just keep your hands where they are, trusting that others will respect your choice. Now let's sing our closing blessing. Path you take, may love guide you on.